First practice at Miami Dolphins training camp occurred on Wednesday. And with this episode, I wanted to take a look at the top position battles that we are going to be keeping an eye on here at Dolphins Today during the entire training camp period. There's a lot of competition, which is good. Competition breeds success. Iron sharpens iron. And I can't wait to watch these players compete against each other to earn their roles on this Dolphins 2025 football team. I am Nic Rohloff. This is Dolphins Today by Chat Sports. And if you are excited for Dolphins training camp to be fully underway, and as we get closer and closer to the regular season against the Indianapolis Colts in Week 1 in early September, and with the preseason on the horizon as well, I want to see who's fired up. I'll be typing my me's in the comment section, so I want to see who else is with me that is excited about Dolphins football officially being back. All right, the number one camp battle I got to look at, it is clearly just corner. And we're usually going to look specifically at roles and positions on this roster. But with this cornerback room being where it just is everything. Like, who is going to be the number one outside corner for this football team? It's really hard to project that. The only staple that you have with this group is Kader Kohou. He's the lock. He is going to be your nickel, and he is going to be on the field probably every play. And I'll say this, if the Dolphins do switch around their formations and kind of personnel, which they will, Anthony Weaver does that a lot, they can go with some 3 safety, 2 corner looks, or a lot of safeties and move it around. Maybe Kader Kohou will stay on the field as a boundary corner in just very small spot snaps if Miami wanted to run a 3 safety look or something like that. That's possible. But he is going to be in the nickel most of the time. And it's just like, what are we going to expect on the outside as your top corners defend most of the top receivers in the game? Some of them move into the slot, sure, but most of them stay on the outside. Well, all eyes are going to be on Cam Smith and Storm Duck. Storm Duck, the second-year UDFA out of Louisville, and Cam Smith, the third-year corner that was a second-round pick out of South Carolina in 2023. Cam Smith has been absolutely atrocious in his career to this point. Storm Duck was a pleasant surprise down the stretch of last season, but it was in a lot of low-leverage games against very low-level opponents to round out the season. Like, if you look back at when Storm Duck started last year, we were playing the Jets, we were playing the Browns, we were playing the 49ers, playing bad football teams. So even when his numbers were better than what Cam Smith was doing, Storm Duck wasn't playing crazy competition. So these two are going to be battling it out all summer long to see who is going to be that top boundary guy paired with Kader Kohou and the rest of the secondary. So let me know. Pick a corner. Who is going to be the number one guy for Miami? Let's just say this. Maybe they sign a number one guy or make a trade for one. Who is going to be the number one guy opposite of them? Smith or Duck? CS for Cam Smith, SD for Storm Duck. We'll get niche here at number 2. We're going specifically to the wide receiver position, but specifically even more to wide receiver number 5. We're getting real nitty gritty here. I am actually unbelievably excited for this one. I really can't wait. And I know it's crazy to say that I'm excited to watch a wide receiver 5 position battle, but that's just really how I feel based on where this wide receiver room is currently. Like, you have a really good room. And I don't think it is understating it when I say your top 4 is pretty much locked up, right? Like Waddle, Hill, Nick Westbrook-Ikini, Malik Washington. Those 4 will be on the roster. Now, it is unclear how many wide receivers will ultimately make Mike McDaniel's 53-man roster when we see that officially announced in late August. But there are a legit 4 or 5 guys that are competing for that 5th roster spot. Maybe they keep 6, maybe they keep 5. I don't know. But if they keep 5, it's going to be a gauntlet for that final spot. There's so many different wide receivers that will be competing for this position, and we'll get to see them so much in the preseason games working with Quinn Ewers and Zach Wilson. Like, you think about the 5 guys that will be going for that spot in the roster. These are the 5. D. Eskridge, Theo Weiss Jr., Taj Washington, Andrew Armstrong, and A.J. Henning. Obviously, Theo Weiss Jr., Armstrong, and Henning, UDFAs. We are very high here at Dolphins Today on Andrew Armstrong, the 6'4" wide receiver from Arkansas who led the SEC in receiving a year ago. Ran a 4.52 40 with his size, unbelievable. But you can't discredit Taj Washington, who was a 7th-round pick from a year ago in 2024. and was one of the top targets at USC for Caleb Williams. Can't discredit Theo Weiss Jr., who had a better OTAs and minicamp portion of the offseason, and he got paid a significant chunk of change. I believe it was about $220,000 in undrafted free agency. But then D. Eskridge, who was on the practice squad for Miami all year last season, has special teams value. And if I had the gun to my head and had to choose who on that group of 5 list was most likely to make the 53-man roster, I would probably go with D. Eskridge due to his versatility and ability to impact the game in many different ways. That's going to be a great camp battle to watch. Number 3, it's going to be the shuffling safeties list. And very similar to the cornerback position, you just simply don't know who is going to be where. Like, Minkah Fitzpatrick is going to be a starting safety. There's no doubt about that. But after him, I have absolutely no clue. Ifeatu Melifonwu began training camp on the non-football injury list. Ashton Davis maybe is able to take that to the bank and become that second safety next to Minkah Fitzpatrick. But you have a 5th-round selection in Dante Trader Jr., a special teams ace that was re-signed in Elijah Campbell, 6th-rounder from a year ago, and Patrick McMorris. The possibilities are absolutely endless. You could tell me, outside of Minkah Fitzpatrick, but the other 4 names that I had, or other 5 names that I had, any 4 of them made the roster to round out the 5, I would believe you. Any 4, 5, or any one of those guys got cut, I would believe you. Now, obviously, eyes are going to be on the 2 players that you signed in free agency, that being Ashton Davis and Melifonwu. But as I just briefly mentioned, Melifonwu was on the NFI. So how often are we going to be able to see him early in the offseason? Like, if he's away from the team for a little bit and not able to practice and participate, how many reps get soaked up by Davis and some of these other young safeties that ultimately put Melifonwu behind the 8 ball? I don't think he'll get cut. I think that would be an aggressive statement to make. But I do wonder if it will impact his ability to become a starter. And then the other thing that you have to focus on is McMorris going to be making the 53-man roster. It's going to be hard for me to say yes to that. It really is. Because to me, Melifonwu, Davis, Minkah are locks. Your 5th-round pick, Dante Trader Jr., is a lock. I think you just have to go with Elijah Campbell as well because of his special teams value. Well, that's 5. Are you keeping 6? Probably don't think you're keeping 6 safeties. So McMorris is going to have to really, really showcase unbelievable talent to make this 53-man roster. Make sure you are subscribed because we will have daily updates on the Miami Dolphins every single day with training camp rolling on. We'll be live for the 3 preseason games, live in the regular season. If you love Miami Dolphins football, there's no other place on YouTube you need to be than Dolphins Today. All right, then 4th battle I can't wait to watch. End of the edge rotation. This one's going to be fun, man. Because when you think about what Miami has at edge, the only roster locks they have, Chop Robinson, Jalen Phillips, and Bradley Chubb. Will they keep 5 edges? Probably. I've seen Mike McDaniel only keep 4. But out of the Quentin Bell, Mohamed Kamara, Grayson Murphy trio, behind Chop, Phillips, and Chubb, which 2 are going to make the roster and which one gets cut? We have said this over the course of the last month, really, ever since mandatory minicamp and OTAs took place in May and June. Grayson Murphy's stock is on the rise. This is one where you want to buy, not sell. Murphy, the UDFA out of UCLA in 2024, had a really good preseason game, just only one against the Falcons, and a good start to training camp, but then was out for the year due to injury. Now that he's back and healthy, ready to roll, I think there's a really solid chance that he ultimately makes this 53-man roster. So if he does, is it Quinn Bell? Is it Mo Kamara? I don't know. It's going to be tough to see. It's going to be fun to watch. A huge sale going on right now where you can get this Dolphins cutoff hoodie, $22 off, slashed from $55 to $33. All you got to do to get it, chatsports.com/MIA cutoff sale. Links in the description and comments of today's video. Take advantage and grab yours today before sizes run it out. I know they're flying off the shelves. The fifth and final camp battle that I want to talk about today, we're actually going to also focus in on the trenches, the defensive line here. The depth behind your big three will be fascinating to me. And who are the big three? Well, it's very simple, right? It is going to be Kenneth Grant. It's going to be Benito Jones. It's going to be Zach Sealer. Those are your three, right? And yes, you drafted Jordan Phillips in the middle round. So, yeah, I'm probably going to be having a safe conversation to say that Phillips will make this roster. There's no doubt about that, and be your wide receiver or defensive lineman for, excuse me. But are you keeping 4 or are you keeping 5? Because there's no guarantee you keep 4 or 5. You might only keep 4. And in that case, Zeke Biggers might be cut. Your 7th round pick out of Georgia Tech, who's a massive human being. You got Matt Dickerson. You got a couple other guys that are vying for a roster spot. So I do think the interior defensive line depth is going to be absolutely fascinating to watch. It's one of my most excited ones, and it's number 5. I think if I had to do an honorable mention, I would do quarterback too. I think it's going to be clearly Zach Wilson, but hey, you never know. Quinn Ewers puts it together. He could be, but I don't think that's a really battle to watch. I think we have our slotted in QBs of Tua, Zach Wilson, and then Quinn Ewers. That'll do it for this episode of Dolphins Today. If you want more on the Dolphins, go follow me on social media, specifically on Twitter, at Nic_Rohloff. I will continue to post updates, news, highlights, clips from Dolphins training camp over there. So if you want daily videos and other content, well, that's a spot for you.